What's up, Wrestle Scope Nation? And if you're not absolutely furious right now, you haven't been paying attention. For months, and I mean months, we've watched CM Punk get brutalized, attacked, and left for dead in parking lots, locker rooms, and backstage areas, while WWE security did absolutely nothing. And now the truth has finally come out, and you are not going to believe who's been behind this entire conspiracy. Hello viewers, welcome to Wrestle Scope. If you're new here, please don't forget to like and hit the subscribe button for daily updates on WWE Raw. I'm telling you right now, this reveal changes everything we thought we knew about WWE's locker room, and somebody needs to be held accountable. The attacks that shook WWE. Let me take you back. Let me remind you of the absolute nightmare CM Punk has been living through since his return to WWE. It started innocently enough, right? November last year. Punk comes back to a hero's welcome. The crowd goes absolutely nuclear. This man, this legend, finally returns to the company after a decade of bad blood, after the lawsuit, after the podcast, after everything. We thought we were getting a redemption story. We thought we were getting a feel-good moment. But no. Week 2. Week 2. Punk is walking to his car after Raw, and out of nowhere he gets blindsided. Attacked from behind. Security cameras conveniently malfunction. No footage, no witnesses who want to talk. Punk ends up with a separated shoulder and has to miss 3 weeks of television. And what does WWE do? They put out a generic statement. We're investigating. We take superstar safety seriously. Really? Do you? Because it happened again. December. Punk is doing a backstage promo and boom, lights go out. When they come back on, Punk is laid out. Concussion. Another 2 weeks gone. His momentum? Destroyed. His title opportunities? Postponed. His trust in WWE management? Shattered. January brings the worst attack yet. Royal Rumble weekend. Punk is found unconscious in the parking garage. Bruised ribs, possible internal bleeding, a gash on his head that required 17 stitches. And you know what the official story was? Punk slipped and fell. Are you kidding me right now? This man has been wrestling for over 20 years, survived the Indies, survived Ring of Honor, survived everything, and we're supposed to believe he just tripped? In a well-lit parking garage? Give me a break. But here's what really makes my blood boil. Here's what should make your blood boil. Every single time this happened, there were whispers, there were rumors. There were people who knew something but wouldn't say anything. The locker room went silent. Nobody came to Punk's defense publicly. Nobody demanded answers. It was like everyone was in on some sick joke, and Punk was the punchline. Meanwhile, Punk is trying to do his job. He's trying to put on incredible matches. He's trying to build new stars. He's trying to give us the wrestling we deserve. And for his troubles, he gets attacked repeatedly, with no protection from the company that's paying him millions of dollars. And don't even get me started on the so-called investigation. WWE hired private investigators. They reviewed footage. They interviewed dozens of people. And what did they find? Nothing. Apparently, a ghost has been attacking one of their top superstars. You know what's wild? In those same months, WWE had cameras everywhere for their documentary crews. They had footage of catering conversations. They had footage of people warming up. They had footage of absolutely mundane things. But the second Punk gets attacked, technology fails. Cameras don't work. Witnesses suddenly have amnesia. The suspects who weren't. Now, the internet wrestling community, the IWC, went crazy trying to figure this out. And honestly, we all became detectives. We all had our theories. Let me break down who everyone thought was responsible, because in hindsight, WWE was playing us like fiddles. This was the obvious choice, right? Seth and Punk have history, real heat, documented issues. Seth made those comments about Punk being unprofessional. Punk fired back on social media. Their chemistry was nuclear. When they finally had their first face-to-face confrontation on Raw, the tension was so thick you could cut it with a knife. Everyone thought this has to be Seth. The narrative made sense. The seasoned veteran versus the guy who feels disrespected. The returning legend versus the man who carried the company in his absence. It wrote itself. But then, Seth got attacked too. Same mysterious circumstances, same lack of evidence, and suddenly, theory number 1 fell apart. Unless, and hear me out, unless that was part of the plan. What if Seth attacking himself was the perfect cover? See, that's where we were at. We were that desperate for answers that we were creating conspiracy theories about conspiracy theories. Drew has been very vocal about Punk. He doesn't hide his feelings. He thinks Punk gets special treatment. He thinks Punk waltzed back in and got opportunities that other people had to grind for. And you know what? Drew isn't entirely wrong about that. The Scottish Warrior made sense as a suspect because he had motive. He had the physicality. He had the anger. Those promos where he was barely containing his rage, masterclass acting, or genuine hatred. We couldn't tell. Drew even did that interview where he said, if I wanted to take someone out, I wouldn't need to hide in the shadows. Which, in retrospect, was either the truth or the perfect misdirection. Plus, Drew's friends with people who have Punk issues. The locker room is divided on Punk. Some people think he's the best thing that ever happened to WWE. Others think he's a cancer who causes problems everywhere he goes. Drew is firmly in camp number 2. But again, no evidence. And Drew seemed just as frustrated as everyone else that these attacks kept happening with no resolution. He wanted to fight Punk, sure, but in the ring, with stakes, with glory on the line. Ambushing someone in a parking lot? That's not Drew's style. Okay, this one was a reach, but people were theorizing. Maybe Solo Sikoa was behind it. Maybe Roman Reigns orchestrated it from his part-time schedule. Maybe the Bloodline wanted to eliminate threats before Punk could challenge for the titles. The evidence? Thin. The motive? Questionable. But when you're desperate for answers, even the wildest theories start sounding plausible. People were connecting dots that didn't even exist. Remember when Punk walked past Jimmy Uso and Jimmy gave him a weird look? Clearly they're plotting against him. We were losing our minds trying to figure this out. Some people thought maybe it was someone from NXT trying to make an impact. Take out a legend, make a name for yourself. It would be shocking. It would be unexpected. It would give someone instant credibility. Names were thrown around. Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams, even Braun Breaker was suspected at one point. The theory was that attacking Punk would be a shortcut to main roster relevance. But again, no evidence. Just speculation. Just desperate fans trying to solve a mystery that WWE was clearly enjoying keeping secret. And through all of this, through months of speculation and theories and arguments in the comment sections, Punk was getting more frustrated, more angry, more desperate for answers. And can you blame him? Let me tell you about the moment everything changed. The moment that Punk decided he was done waiting for WWE to protect him. The moment he took matters into his own hands. It was last week's Raw. Chicago. Punk's hometown. The place where he's a god. The crowd was absolutely nuclear from the moment his music hit. You could feel the energy through the screen. This was Punk's house, and everyone knew it. He cuts a promo. Classic Punk. He's talking about how he's tired of looking over his shoulder. He's tired of the attacks. He's tired of WWE's investigation that has produced 0 results. He's calling out his attacker to face him like a man. The crowd is hanging on every word, chanting CM Punk, CM Punk. And then he says something that makes my jaw drop. He says, you know what? I'm done waiting. I hired my own investigator, and I know who you are. I have proof, and tonight, in front of my hometown, I'm going to expose you for the coward you really are. The arena erupts. Finally, we're getting answers. The energy is insane. Punk says he's going to reveal everything in the main event segment. He wants maximum viewers. He wants maximum impact. He wants the world to see who's been terrorizing him for months. But here's the thing, and this is so typical. WWE goes to commercial, and when they come back, Adam Pearce is in the ring, the general manager. And he's trying to talk Punk out of this. He's saying, let us handle it professionally. Don't take matters into your own hands. Punk snaps. He gets in Pearce's face and says something we probably weren't supposed to hear clearly, but the microphones caught it. Your investigation has been a joke. You either can't find who did this or you won't. Either way, I'm done trusting you. Pearce looks uncomfortable. Like he knows something but can't say it. Like he's caught between corporate interests and doing the right thing. And Punk just stares him down until Pearce leaves the ring. The crowd is nuclear. They're chanting, let Punk speak. They want answers. We all want answers. Social media absolutely explodes during this segment. Twitter is going crazy. Who is it? Finally, we're getting the truth. Punk is about to burn this place down. Everyone had their predictions. Everyone had their series. The wrestling world stopped to pay attention. Fast forward to the main event segment. The show is almost over. They've been promoting this reveal all night. Punk comes out and he's got his investigator with him, a legitimate private detective named Marcus Webb. This isn't a work, this isn't a storyline character. This is a real investigator that Punk hired with his own money because WWE wouldn't do their job. Webb has a folder. Punk has a microphone, and the Chicago crowd is so loud you can barely hear yourself think. Punk starts talking. He's emotional. You can see months of frustration pouring out. He talks about how he came back to WWE in good faith, how he wanted to make amends, how he wanted to create magic for the fans, and instead he's been terrorized. He's talking about the physical toll, the injuries, the time missed, the opportunities lost, but more than that, the mental toll. Looking over your shoulder constantly, not trusting anyone, wondering if today's the day you get attacked again, living in fear in what should be your workplace. And then he says it. I know who you are. I have the footage I have to prove, and tonight I'm showing the world exactly who the coward is that's been terrorizing me. The shocking reveal. The Titantron flickers.